Hey guys, Everman22 here, taking a look at the Orc elites for recommendation and analysis. Of course, Warboss Gorguts is probably one of the best elites for the Orcs just because of how well-rounded he is. Like, he says he doesn't have a lot of offense, but think about that as he has an ability that causes damage and reduces damage for in a circle, which means he's really good against infantry. And of course he has his grappling claw, which allows him to do armor piercing damage, which means he's good against vehicles. And also stuns. And the taunts. And spinning claw, which allows him to protect his other units. His allied units, allows him to protect them. And then he can slam it down to do additional damage. Also when he's deployed, a successful wall will heal as well as the usual effects, which means he's actually a decent quote-unquote support unit as well as a tank, even if it doesn't say he is. He's still technically a support unit, I think. It's because of this ability and that ability. He doesn't have a lot of offense, like I said, but that counteracts it. He has a lot of defense, so he can tank a lot. Difficulty? Yeah, I'd say it's a bit difficult to use. You have to know when to just keep this going and when to like slam it. Also, grappling hook or grappling claw effectively. Utility is good utility. He's a really solid elite. Like, I'd recommend using him almost every match, I'd say. Stone Boys, let's take a look at these guys. Extremely mobile melee jump infantry that deals their burst damage, negative suicide. Who would you pair these guys up with, though? Like, the only thing I'd recommend these guys if you wanted to go like, if you're not too sure about your early game, then just get some Storm Boys. Like, they're assassins. They mainly deal burst damage. They're not good in sustained fights, so you want them jumping around, picking off guys, and suiciding on targets. Trying to do as much damage as possible before they die, essentially. And then they have this, which allows vehicles to these guys are actually good, yeah. This ability allows vehicles to enter a crazed state, which grants a shield and increases speed, but explodes after delay, killing itself, causing damage and stuns a circle. And it automatically activates when a unit is about to die. So yeah, these guys are good. These guys are actually sustainable because of that ability. Because when you go later in the game and you have a bunch of vehicles, and the vehicles, when they're about to die, they'll just get an extra shield and they'll blow themselves up, causing damage. And they can suicide themselves, which does armor piercing damage, so it's good against vehicles. And they're good against taking out targets. So these guys are actually a really good pick. I think I'll keep them. Let's take a look at Marconut. Marconut, Beauty to Marconut rather. There are two Marconuts if you don't know. He's primarily defensive rather than offensive. What I mean by that is that they have a custom force field that protects against a lot of stuff, really. And they have Rocket Fist, so lets them shoot a fist out and then bring them back. And then of course they have Gretchen Repair Squad. Summons the squad of Gretchen to repair itself, and the Gretchens can be given other orders. It's essentially a summon ability, which is nice. But yeah, beta repair, when Gretchens can repair significantly faster, and targets that reduce incoming damage. This is just a really solid late game unit. But it is more defensive, and by that I mean, if you want to go offensive, you would get just the regular Gorgonaut. I think this does more. It's more offensive than defensive. You got the rocket fist, which, as you'll see, does a lot of damage. I mean, it has a long delay. But it's pretty effective. And there's this, which is also really good. That essentially almost killed every infantry squad there almost. This is a more offensive version of a Morkanaut. And when a Gorgonaut deploys successful wall, reduces incoming damage in addition to usual effects. And he can also he's also a reinforcement point, just like regular Gorgonaut or Morkanaut rather. So if you want to go offensive, I'd probably pick Gorgonaut. It says that he actually has less, but I don't see how it's possible. Because he has 2 damage based abilities. And he has 1. Well, actually none. This actually isn't a damage based ability really. It's more of a crowd control sort of ability, because it stuns and then it brings them back. Like a tractor beam. Yeah, disables attacks. It does stun and does armor piercing damage, so it's good against vehicles. This is true damage. Damage over time in a circle. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like, based on how their abilities are built up, I'd say the Gorgonaut is a more offensive version of the Morkanaut. Let's go to these mega knobs. Heavy melee infantry squad, effective at heavily armored targets, so they're good against vehicles mainly. They have rockets that are true damage and slow. Custom force field, blocks enemy movements. Oh, that's cool. It's actually really good. Does it do damage? Oh, I should have kept the video going. Sorry about that. Thought it was over. Like this is what does it do to those Howling Banshees? Okay, so it restricts movement and it slows. It increases or lowers speed based on allegiance. It blocks enemy movement and absorbs shots. So if they're on your side, they're going to increase in speed. If they're not on your side, they'll lower speed significantly. These guys are pretty good. For that ability alone, they're quite useful. Then you got this combi rockets. These guys don't seem to have a lot of damage though, because they're not killing those race very quickly. Causes slow and damage and generates charges by looting. Okay. They do have decent offense and decent defense. The mega knobs from a deployed the explosion from knobs, explosive armor heals in a circle. Boys gain a shield while channeling shout. So these guys are pretty solid. They're a bit costly in terms of elite points though. That's my only gripe. But still they're pretty solid. Let's see, look at the next one. The Commando. I'm actually curious about this guy. Like, yeah, it's just one guy with a custom shooter. He can stealth, lay stun traps, first traps, and any scrap into a bomb. Sneaky. Is he invisible now? Huh. So you can stealth other units? Alright. Causes damage in a cone. That's a really strange ability. When he's deployed, tank busters and killer cons can fire the rockets at their feet, propelling them into the air, causing them to jump to the target position and stealth. That's really weird. So the idea of stealth killer cons is terrifying to me. It says he's a nuker and a crowd control, which he essentially is. I don't think he's actually really that good though, to be honest. It's like he does normal damage. He's really only good against, like, he's not good against vehicles. He has really low defense. He's gonna die really quickly. His offense is decent, but most of his abilities are based around crowd control. But that in of itself isn't really that good because they aren't that good again in terms of crowd control. This stuns and this also stuns, and then this does damage in a cone. That's about it. So he's mainly stunning and not good against vehicles. So he's not gonna last very good long late game, or even mid game when vehicles run around. How long does the stealth last? Thing is, he doesn't have like a permanent stealth ability, which is really strange. Reaching goes stun a circle stealth to move to the capturing attacking detected. Man, I guess he's okay, but still, I think they're just better leads to have. Like, I'd put him in a lineup if I was going like extremely early game, to be honest. That's really the only way, because he doesn't last that long late game. We've already talked about Gorkanat, so let's go back to Weird Boy Zapnoggin, who is really strange. He has Scrap Blast. Here we go. Fist of Gork. And then Scrap Shield. He's based upon scrap essentially, because every single ability he needs scrap to use. His offense and defense are kind of low for utility is really high, his difficulty is really high. He is I guess he's a decent spellcaster because he can do damage. As you saw, he can destroy infantry units, and he can teleport other units to places. And the range is quite high. Yeah, there it is. Yep. Yeah, you want him early game. Like him, does that affect that? Because if you can combine him with Storm Boys, that's actually really terrifying. Because not only then are Storm Boys jumping in, but you have a bunch of Orc Boys jumping in as well, teleporting with him. So if that's true, he's really good in that aspect because he doesn't last very long late game. Big Mac Wasmaka. Supporting Orc Army. He's essentially only support. Like, he can transform scrap into turrets that don't do a lot of damage but are still, you know, DPS, so it's kind of nice. He can generate scrap himself. That also does damage. Then he can fire a tractor beam, which either does damage and slows us in a circle or gives them a shield. So he could save units, essentially, and then pull them back. Like, his difficulty is extremely high, his offense is decent, or is kind of average, his defense is average. Offense average, defense average, utility is decently high, difficulty is extremely high. This is nice when he's deployed while Rex left by your units are automatically upgraded to. You've got turrets that engage targets temporarily. That's pretty good. This is decent, but not really that good, I don't think. Just gives temporary vision. I don't know though. Like, I see 4 points and I think Gore Guts. I don't think Wasmaka. Gore Guts is just strong all around. Wasmaka's kind of eh. Last one is Madrid. He is, I mean, he can make a tunnel. That's kind of nice. It'll allow you to teleport units. He can heal himself through looting scrap. He has a cleave ability, which is nice. Means he's really good against infantry. He has a rampage ability, which is instead of dying, he goes on a rampage. He gets a shield and generates fury. When he reaches max fury, it heals him. If their shield breaks, he dies. And of course, every 6 attacks, devastating blow. Actually, decent offense, decent defense, average utility, average difficulty. He's mainly just a tank, to be honest. He's just a tank with this ability here. Like, he's rather straightforward to use. He's easy to use for beginners. Sometimes you drill, other time you just kill people. So he's pretty good. 7. Yeah, he's a 7. These are 6. So this is my orc elite analysis, as well as recommendations, but really just analysis. I'm MMan22. Thank you guys for watching.